Well, it's multifaceted. It kind of depends on the context of, personal regret of the person who passes, or even the regret we feel when someone passes, as far as how maybe we could have handled things better.
Tyler Henry rose to fame as a Hollywood medium, delivering messages from beyond and offering comfort to countless people. But behind the spotlight and supernatural insight lies a far more complex and somber story, one marked by health battles, isolation, and emotional pain few know about. How does a young man gifted with a rare ability cope with the weight of loss, skepticism, and rejection all at once? What happens when the gifts that bring hope also bring heartbreak? Tyler's story challenges everything we expect from a celebrity medium and reveals the heavy toll his unseen world takes on him. Early psychic awakening. Tyler Henry's journey into the world of the supernatural began unexpectedly around the age of 10, a time when most children are still figuring out basic aspects of their identity. It was at this young age that he experienced his first psychic moment, predicting the death of his grandmother. At the time, Tyler didn't recognize this as a special ability. To him, it was simply something happening that he couldn't fully explain. The shock of learning about her passing from his father made the entire experience feel chaotic and overwhelming. This initial encounter with death and the unknown didn't come with any guidebook or reassurance. Instead, it opened a door to a new but confusing reality where Tyler suddenly found himself aware of feelings and messages beyond normal comprehension. Despite the seemingly mystical nature of this experience, Tyler struggled internally to grasp the meaning and significance of his gift. It was an awakening loaded with uncertainty, which foreshadowed many more challenges he would face on this unusual path. As Tyler continued to develop his ability, he found it difficult to fit these emerging talents into an everyday life that demanded normal connections and stability. The early psychic experiences set him apart from peers, creating a gap between his world and that of his friends and family. Yet, the full emotional weight of these abilities would only become clear later, when the realities of loss, isolation, and misunderstanding began to settle in deeper. For now, it was simply the beginning of something much larger than himself. This strange insight into the spiritual world turned Tyler's youth into a balancing act between childhood wonder and a heavy new responsibility. While many kids are discovering who they are, Tyler was navigating a hidden realm few understand, leaving him with questions he was not ready to answer. The uncertainty he faced at such an early age planted seeds of solitude and bewilderment that would grow in the years ahead. Still, this early awakening was just the first hint of the complexities waiting for him. Though this initiation into psychic ability might seem extraordinary, it did not offer Tyler comfort or clarity right away. Instead, it carved out a personal space that was difficult to share or explain, especially to young friends who could not relate. Tyler's gift set him on a unique trajectory, but it also introduced personal struggles that went far beyond the usual challenges of growing up. The full implications of this awakening took years to reveal, hinting at heartbreak to come. Despite his gift, Tyler's young mind grappled with confusion and solitude, rather than immediate acceptance or celebration. This created an internal divide between the reality he saw and the expectations others had for him. Tyler's early experiences did not shield him from pain, but rather immersed him more deeply into a world where loss felt immediate and personal. It was a silent burden carried into his adolescence, rarely spoken about, but ever present. The shock surrounding the death of his grandmother was a defining moment, showing Tyler that his gift was not an abstract curiosity, but something that connected him closely to loss and grief. This experience introduced a pattern of emotional intensity connected to his ability that would repeat throughout his life. At this stage, the full emotional toll was only beginning to surface, leaving open questions about how Tyler would cope with the weight of what he sensed. Tyler's early psychic awakening planted the first seeds of a life that would be far from easy, shaped by talents that divided him from his community and challenged his sense of belonging. The initial shock and mystery would soon grow into a more complicated reality, as Tyler's path unfolded with many twists that tested his spirit and resilience. What seemed like a gift on the surface came with unexpected hardships hidden just beneath. Moving beyond the raw shock of his early gifts, Tyler soon encountered the hard truth of how his community would respond to the abilities that set him apart. Isolation and community rejection. Growing up in California's San Joaquin Valley, Tyler Henry experienced firsthand the social isolation that can come with being different in a close-knit community. His emerging psychic abilities separated him from childhood peers who didn't understand his experiences or where they came from. While some might have been curious or accepting, the overall atmosphere was one of suspicion and fear, which made it difficult for Tyler to feel a sense of belonging. The religious environment in which Tyler was raised also complicated matters, as opinions about clairvoyance were sharply divided. Some viewed his abilities as a spiritual gift, but others feared or rejected them outright, labeling his connections to the spirit world as something negative. This conflict in belief systems created an additional layer of pressure for Tyler, forcing him to navigate not just personal challenges, but the judgment of an entire community. In interviews, Tyler has described how middle school was particularly difficult for him, a time when he was not only trying to understand his own abilities, but also accepting the reality of being different from those around him. This struggle to find self-acceptance amid the mixed reactions of others led to feelings of exclusion and loneliness during his formative years. His experience echoed that of many who face early rejection for being unlike their peers. High school brought no relief. The social challenges persisted as Tyler continued to deal with skepticism and misunderstanding. The very community that shaped his upbringing often turned cold or wary toward him because of the inexplicable nature of his gift. This kept him on the sidelines socially, deepening the emotional divide created by his unique connection to the spiritual realm. Tyler's isolation extended beyond just social rejection to internal conflict as well. Being dismissed or condemned by those he was close to, especially within a religious framework, forced him to question the nature of his abilities and his place in the world. The clash between faith, fear, and acceptance created a complex emotional environment that Tyler had to navigate with little guidance. Through all the hardships, Tyler has gone on to narrate the self-acceptance journey as the most important, and always in the process of doing so. He acknowledged that the experience of being different was very much relatable for a lot of people, but still required a personal confrontation to fully accept his psychic power.
And that would basically just be her way of referring to them, acknowledging the incident, and just acknowledging that they were protected and watched over on the other.
This acknowledgement, in fact, was a hard one fought, intertwining with the agony of rejection, but nevertheless an absolute prerequisite for any further development of his life and profession. Tyler's early isolation was one of the most telling aspects of his life, revealing itself through the sharp contrast with the very public role he would later take. He was often misunderstood and even feared during his young adulthood. However, his talent, later on, would be the driving force pushing him into the limelight where millions would then await his guidance. This conflict between the hardships of the private and the glories of the public side brought out a lot of the Tyler's story. Loneliness during Tyler's childhood was not a mere consequence of his adolescent phase, but was rather a direct link to the extraordinary characteristics of his powers. The rejections and the fear he had to face created an emotional ground that would go on to deeply influence the way he would deal with fame, criticism, and even his mental health in the following years. The price of being different was already apparent long before his name was known to the public. Tyler's resilience came from the deep roots of this isolation, but also a lingering feeling of vulnerability, the background that determined how he viewed both his gift and the world's reaction to it. The difficulties he encountered in his neighborhood hinted at the intricate trials that would challenge him in his adult life. Tyler's difficult relationship with his community was only part of the story. Underlying it all were serious health battles that would further test his strength in unimaginable ways. Health struggles and near-death experiences. Tyler Henry's life has been marked not only by his psychic abilities, but by relentless health challenges beginning long before his fame. Born 3 months premature, his early start in life came with risks that would echo throughout his young adulthood. Over the years, these struggles have included multiple emergency surgeries and frightening near-death experiences, all of which added physical and emotional strain to his already unusual path. One of the most serious incidents occurred shortly after Tyler's 18th birthday, when he was hospitalized with hydrocephalus caused by an arachnoid brain cyst. The cyst increased pressure inside his skull by blocking the flow of cerebrospinal fluid, creating a life-threatening situation. Emergency brain surgery became necessary, and although he thankfully recovered quickly, the experience was a stark reminder of his physical fragility. In May of 2025, Tyler revealed that he underwent yet another brain operation, this time to remove a colloid cyst near the center of his brain. This was not his first encounter with brain surgery, and Tyler's resilient attitude was clear when he described the procedure as "not my first rodeo." Despite these medical battles, he remained thankful and committed to continuing his work, sharing with fans that he would return soon with new readings and insights. Tyler has also faced serious issues with his lungs. In late 2019, just before the global pandemic began, he suffered a collapsed lung that required emergency surgery and a 3-week hospital stay. During recovery, it was discovered that his lungs had severe damage, with multiple air leaks, making reinflation very difficult. This health crisis was life-altering, and Tyler suspects it was caused by COVID-19, as he and his family had been sick in a way none had experienced before. These repeated health emergencies forced Tyler to become extremely mindful of his lifestyle, understanding that his body was vulnerable despite his seemingly otherworldly gifts. The physical toll of his conditions often intersected with mental and emotional challenges, compounding the difficulties he faced in balancing both his public career and private health battles. His ongoing courage in the face of these crises is a testament to his strength. Tyler's health struggles did more than affect his body. They shaped his perspective on life, death, and the fragile boundary between the two. Faced repeatedly with mortality at a young age, he developed a unique outlook that informed both his psychic work and his personal journey. This close brush with death made him more determined to find meaning and purpose amid hardship. Even amid these trials, Tyler has continued to push forward, embracing his unusual lifestyle and the demands of being a public figure. His health battles added layers of complexity to his story, reminding audiences that the man behind the gift is human and vulnerable. These experiences would later reveal just how much heartbreak and perseverance lie beneath the surface of his mediumship. The lasting impact of Tyler's health struggles would be felt in many ways, influencing how he copes with both the spiritual and physical worlds. As his story unfolds, these challenges provide crucial insight into the emotional and mental toll that comes with being a young man living between two very different realities. With the weight of his early psychic awakening, childhood isolation, and serious medical issues, Tyler's path was already steep, and the forces shaping his life would continue to test him in profound ways. Public scrutiny and skepticism. Tyler Henry's rise to fame as a Hollywood medium has been marked by both fascination and controversy. From the beginning, his work sparked debate over whether his abilities were genuine or the product of showmanship. As the youngest well-known medium to enter mainstream entertainment, Tyler quickly drew attention for his calm demeanor and emotional readings that often left celebrities and ordinary clients alike in tears.
And I don't think I've ever mourned her death.
I started noticing that her skepticism was fading.
Yet, with fame came skepticism. Critics accused him of exploiting grief, suggesting that his success relied on people's vulnerability and desire for closure rather than any real connection to the spiritual realm. The controversy intensified after the release of his Netflix series, Life After Death, with Tyler Henry.
My job as a medium is to deliver messages. I can't stress enough how proud she is of you. I receive impressions.
which followed him as he delivered readings across the country while exploring shocking revelations about his own family history. Online critics, particularly on platforms like Reddit, claimed his psychic persona was a carefully constructed performance built for fame and profit. To them, Tyler was not a gifted medium, but a skilled observer and conversationalist who could weave convincing narratives from subtle emotional cues. Publications like Skeptical Inquirer amplified these doubts during his Live from the Other Side tour, arguing that his performances depended on prior research and hot readings rather than genuine supernatural insight. They accused him of leveraging emotional storytelling and confirmation bias, where people hear what they want to believe, to create an illusion of communication with the dead. These claims blurred the line between entertainer and medium, forcing audiences to question where sincerity ended and performance began. Rather than retreat under the weight of criticism, Tyler chose transparency. In a 2018 interview with Larry King, he admitted he never expected universal belief.
Hitler and Lincoln and Stalin, they're all out there.
I believe the essence of...
Washington and Jefferson.
Sure, absolutely, in some capacity.
Even as a teenager, he understood that his career existed in a strange liminal space between faith and doubt, science and spirit. Skepticism is healthy, he said, explaining that he viewed disbelief as a necessary part of the conversation. His calm acceptance of criticism became a defining trait, separating him from many who react defensively to such scrutiny. Over time, Tyler has come to view skepticism not only as an obstacle, but as fuel. He often says that disbelief stems from humanity's discomfort with uncertainty, that people crave proof where only faith can exist. This acknowledgement of the unknown has positioned him as a symbol of modern spirituality's paradox, a world where technology and logic dominate, yet the hunger for meaning remains. Ironically, the very skepticism that challenges Tyler's authenticity has also cemented his cultural relevance. Every article questioning his abilities, every debate over his readings, keeps his name and the broader discussion of belief alive. Whether his critics realize it or not, their scrutiny helps sustain public curiosity. Behind the spotlight, though, Tyler remains a young man carrying both empathy and exhaustion. His work revolves around others' grief, but his own losses and doubts are just as heavy. Beyond the fame, controversy, and spiritual spectacle lies a deeply human struggle, the challenge of living between two worlds, one seen, one unseen. The real cost of Tyler's gift became painfully clear through his experiences with grief and emotional burden, especially surrounding the loss of those closest to him. Personal loss and emotional burdens. Tyler Henry's extraordinary gift for communicating with the dead has never shielded him from grief. It has brought him closer to it. One of his most painful losses was his close friend and first love, Terry, who died of brain cancer. Though Tyler sensed Terry's fate long before it happened, the knowledge didn't make it easier. In fact, it made it unbearable. He has admitted that he distanced himself from Terry before his passing because he couldn't face what he knew was coming, a decision that has haunted him ever since. This experience reveals the emotional cost of Tyler's gift. While he can sense the presence of the deceased, he's not immune to the raw pain of loss. Living between the physical and spiritual worlds leaves him carrying the sorrow of others as well as his own, often blurring the line between empathy and exhaustion. Tyler has also faced deep personal struggles with identity. Coming out as gay was not a single moment, but a process, one he described as coming out 20 times due to disbelief and denial, even from family. Balancing fame, grief, and self-acceptance has taken a heavy toll, often leaving him unable to give himself the comfort he offers others. Ultimately, Tyler's story is one of paradox. His gift connects him to the afterlife, yet it intensifies the pain of living. Behind his calm public persona lies a man marked by love, loss, and the heavy burden of knowing too much. Moving forward, Tyler's story will reveal how he manages to keep going despite these monumental emotional weights, showing the coping mechanisms that help him survive the unseen struggles so many do not witness. Coping, compartmentalization, and legacy. Tyler Henry's life is a constant balance between two worlds, the spiritual realm he connects with and the physical one he lives in. His ability to receive messages from the departed takes a deep emotional toll, often blurring the line between work and personal life. To cope, Tyler relies on strict mental boundaries, consciously separating his own emotions from the grief and stories he encounters. Without this, he says, he'd carry the weight of countless sorrows. Still, there's no true way to shut off the connection. Tyler can only turn it up or tune it out, living with a constant hum of otherworldly energy that affects his mental and emotional health. While he brings comfort to others, he's admitted that finding peace for himself can be difficult. That vulnerability became even more pronounced when a DNA test on his Netflix series Life After Death with Tyler Henry revealed shocking family secrets. The woman who raised his mother was not her biological mother, but an abusive criminal serving life sentences for slaying.
Feelings when I met with my biological family were actually bittersweet as well, because while I loved them and adored them,
Tyler never sensed the presence of his real grandmother, a stark contrast to the many spirits he channels for others. Despite these struggles, Tyler continues to share his experiences with openness and empathy. His willingness to discuss mental health, isolation, and grief challenges the stereotype of the infallible medium. Ultimately, Tyler's story is one of resilience, a reminder that even those who guide others through loss are still learning how to heal themselves. Tyler Henry's story is a powerful reminder that behind every gift lies a human being facing real struggles. His journey shows us the strength it takes to live with extraordinary abilities amid skepticism, loss, and health battles. If you found this insight compelling, don't forget to like and subscribe for more honest stories that dive deep beyond the surface. Thank you for watching.